Hello and welcome back to another video. Now, this is going to be an announcement video regarding everything you need to know about C3 Marble Race 25, which is the final race of 2023. So, of course, there's nothing else for me to say here with this intro, apart from saying that this is just all the info that you do need to know before next week's final Marble Race of 2023. So, without further ado, let's get this started. So, beginning with number 1 is that it will be taking place in Algodoux due to the fact that I am still away by the time we get to the final 2023 race, but also because 2023 was so special to me that I wanted to explore something different and special for this episode. The 2023 Marble Race Series Awards could also be taking place in Algodoux too, but it's depending how long I'm still going to be away from home. So, now, I'm still away from home. I don't know when I'll get back home, but it's going to most likely going to be past this Sunday, which is it's going to be my main goal of trying to come back home, but unfortunately that's going to be way past that, so which means the final race of 2023 is going to have to be done digitally through Algodoux, especially since, I haven't done Algodoux since the Copa Marble Race tournament, if you guys remember that from 2020, but yeah, for the first time in 3 years, Algodoux will be utilized in a marble race. So, especially due to circumstances, I'm still away. So, yeah, I'm still on vacation as of the time I'm posting this. But, yeah, it is what it is. So, the show must go on, but in the digital world of Algodoux. So, yeah, I hope you guys understand with that. Number 2, no matter if this episode is now taking place in Algodoux or would have been done physically if I was returning home, it's still going to have to be done. It's still going to have its own track. Okay, my apologies for a few line flubs, but it's still going to have its own exclusive track made only for the episode, meaning the next track that debuts in the first race of 2024 when I get back from my holiday break, as well as if I return home, it will be used for the rest of Chapter 3, Season 3. So, yeah, of course, I'm still keeping along with the rule that I'm only using 3 tracks every season. 4 races used when Chasing Sunsets as tracks, and then the final race of the year is going to have its own exclusive track, so which means that the rest of Chapter 3, Season 3 will be using one of my own tracks that is going to be completely new from the ground up. So, yeah. So, that's going to be used for the rest of the season and when I return from my holiday break for the first Marble Race of 2024. So now let's get to number 3. So, we have a total of 59 marbles, aka tied marbles, competing in the episode, as only 9 non-ties are not going to be racing in the episode. But like usual, we'll be splitting the 59 tied marbles into 2 groups. So once again, like usual with the final race of a year, we are splitting the massive amount of marbles into 2 groups just to keep things simple, and also that way it's not a complete mess. So yeah, that way we keep things pretty simplified. So we only have 9 tied. Yeah, only have 9 non-ties. Okay, my bad for a couple of line flubs here and there, but like always, no one's perfect. So while the rest are non-ties, which of course I'll go over the ties and non-ties after all this info. But let's move on to number 4. So for number 4, speaking of the ties, the marbles that are tied with 3-0, 2-0, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, and 1-3 will be competing in the green group, while everyone else with the ties of nothing, 0-1, and 0-2 will be competing in the purple group. So, of course, this gives me the opportunity to label the marbles in the respective groups based on the Ray 22X colors. So for the first group, it's going to be green. Second group is going to be purple. So yeah, I haven't done a purple group in quite, I've actually never done a purple group ever. So this will be the first time that I'm doing a purple group. So yeah, this should be pretty interesting. And then finally, number 5, before we get to revealing the ties and non-ties. So just to save some time, I won't be filling in the marbles as usual accent colors. Instead, color their names based on the two respective groups they are a part of. So of course, considering the fact that I have dozens of marbles competing, it would be a complete waste of extra. It's going to take some way longer extra time. It's going to be a complete waste if I do their accent colors. So therefore, just to save some time, I will be coloring their names based on the groups that they are part of. So that way I can save time and just push out the race a little bit quicker. Apart from someone else, which I'm going to go over the ties and non-ties right now. So yeah, let's go ahead and reveal the ties and non-ties. Alright, so here are your ties and non-ties. We begin with the ties first, specifically with the green group. So you can read the names out yourselves, so that way I can save some time and everything. So yeah, and you can see by the label here, it has 29 marbles. So, and also, in case if you're wondering, right here, yes, Cat's Eye Red is competing in this episode. So usually, because of, what happened with Snowball earlier this year, my bad for a few line flubs, but because of what happened with Snowball, all world champions are only allowed to compete in 1 to 2 races every month, but because Cat's Eye Red is tied with Swirl and Blood Red, as you can see here, with 3-0, then basically his appearance for this episode is the only exception, and that's it. So yeah, this is the first time in the first time that a tiebreaker race has a world champion competing, due to the fact that they're tied with one or more marbles on the leaderboard. So, like in past years, we never had a world champion doing so, but because they're tied with someone, this is the only exception that I'm making. Because it's due to the fact that Cat's Eye Red did compete in 2 races prior to this, so this will be his 3rd race because of the fact that he's tied with someone. So yeah, if Sunset was still world champion, then we could have continued the trend of avoiding having a world champion compete in a tiebreaker race, but well, we had a title change going down in Marble Race Tournament 11, but whatever. Now for the purple group. This one has 30 marbles, as you can see here, and it's pretty much populated mostly by everyone who are 0-0, meaning they have not scored anything. So yeah, this is kind of funny. So yeah, those are your ties for the purple group, having 30 marbles. And yes, the green group would have had 30 marbles if Lion was not replaced by Fire when it comes to the body change. But yeah, Lion is on the shelf until I can find a new body for him. So yeah, basically therefore the green group had 1 marble subtracted, and therefore we're left with 29 for the green and 30 for the purple. And finally for the non-ties. So these are the ones who are not tied with anyone and therefore will not be competing in the final race of 2023. So the non-ties are Sunset with 5-1, Cat's Eye Yellow with 5-2, Tiger Shark with 4-0, Pearl with 2-1, Milky Way with 2-2, Crystal with 2-3, Snowball with 2-4, Amber with 2-5, and finally Mars Orange with 1-5. So those are your non-ties, and therefore are already ready to go for the 2023 Marble Race Series Awards. And yes, I'm still showing their scores because I know some of you scrolled through the leaderboard just to check their scores. So yeah, that's why I'm still showing their scores anyway. But yeah, and plus, not to mention, like usual, these scores along with everyone else's scores will be shown in the Marble Race Series Awards like usual. Which, of course, speaking of which, definitely stay tuned for the 2023 Marble Race Series Awards, which is going to be very big and everything. So yeah, I guess that's going to be about it for the video. I guess that's everything you need to know. But let me recap the information before we get off of here. So for the main C3 Marble Race 25 info, It will be taking place in Algodu because I'm still away by the time we get to the final race of 2023, but also because 2023 was so special to me that I wanted to explore something different and special for this episode. The 2023 Marble Race Series Awards could also be taking place in Algodu too, but that is depending how long I'm still going to be away from home. 2. If this episode is now taking place in Algodu or would have been done physically, it's still going to have its own exclusive track made only for the episode, meaning the next track that debuts in the first race of 2024 when I get back from holiday break will actually be used for the rest of Chapter 3 Season 3, which, this is the current season that we're at as of the time this is being made. 3. A total of 59 marbles, 29 for the first group and 30 for the second group, will be competing in the episode, as only 9 non-ties are not going to be racing in the episode, but like usual, we'll be splitting the 59 tied marbles into 2 groups. 4. Speaking of the ties, the marbles that are tied with 3-0, 2-0, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, and 1-3 will be competing in the green group, while everyone else with the ties of 0, 0-1, and 0-2 will be competing in the purple group. And finally, number 5, just to save some time, I won't be filling in the marbles as accent colors and instead color their names based on the 2 groups they are part of. Yes, I know the typing was kind of sloppy, but I'm just still trying to get this video pushed out and everything, so but I'm just gonna leave it as is because why not. And then here are your ties and non-ties. And so yeah, that is going to be about it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow all my socials down below and subscribe and notification bell enabled. And of course, I will see you guys next week, this Friday, mainly for the final race of 2023, which is going to be Algodu based, and it's going to be very exciting, especially since I've been, it took a while for me to get that work, but trying to get to work on that. My bad for a few more line flubs here and there, but yeah, like I said, not everyone's perfect. But yeah, I did put some effort to making that episode for it to be taped, and it's already ready to go. Well, speaking of which, I have the Algodu program opened up, so yeah, as you can see by the taskbar, so as you can tell that after this is done, I'm gonna get to taping that episode right now. So yeah. Anyways, that's going to be about it for this. Hope you enjoyed, and have a good day.